Happy New Year! As you know, PMI is bringing out their brand new PMP exam starting today, January 2nd. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of introduction of some of the non-traditional style questions you're going to face on the PMP exam if you're brand new to it or just have been delaying until now. So if you go to the website of pmi.org and under their updates on the PMP exam, you'll see a few different things. One, obviously noting that the exam is changing as of today, January 2nd, 2021, but also, two, that the emphasis is not going to be on the knowledge areas, the process groups, and all the things that we've been working on before, but that's always really been the case anyway. We know that the PMBOK, for instance, is just one of the reference guides. It's not the pinnacle piece. Yes, sure, it's a majority of what you need to know as a project management professional, and that's kind of what they're testing on. Nevertheless, there's a lot more that you need to know beyond just that. And now, of course, with the new exam outline, there are going to be different domains: the people, the process, and the business environment. But also, I want you to note that the exam itself is slightly changing in some logistics. One is obviously that there's more proctored exams available, that you could do it from your home like I am here, but also too that the exam is no longer 200 questions, but it's down to 180 questions. That really kind of means those 20 questions that they were always throwing in for evaluation purposes, those are taken out. So the nice thing is that at least now when you are sitting and taking the exam, the questions that you are facing are all going to be counted, unlike before where you really didn't know, and it probably wasn't fair to you to take a question that was being evaluated and really rattling you and only to throw you off during the exam. So hopefully that will help you be better prepared, or at least know that it's only 180 questions. But I also think that the reason they've done that is because in the proctored exam, they got to give you time to rest. Unlike in a physical location where you can get up, go to the restroom, or walk around or something and take a break, because for 4 hours, that's probably necessary. But in this case, what they've done with the proctor is that they can't obviously watch you or follow you to the bathroom or something like that. That would be a little bit much. So what they can do, though, is say, all right, at a particular point in time, and we will designate that time as a 10-minute break, and in those 10 minutes, go ahead, do what you need to do. We'll keep the camera on, but you cannot go back to the questions you've already answered. And so if your strategy then is to mark or skip questions and then return to them hopefully later, which is a great strategy, and I'm not discouraging you to do that, but just remember that you won't be able to go back all the way to the beginning, which is a bummer if later on, and I did this in my PMP exam where things were introduced like, oh yeah, that's right, and I was able to go back to that earlier question. You, unfortunately, will not have that luxury anymore if you do the proctored exam. And I think actually this is for the same in person as well. But nevertheless, what I wanted to point out is that there's new combination of questions. You will see a various different formats, unlike the traditional one answer out of four, and that is the only A, B, C, or D is the right choice, and no points for anything else. It's still a zero sum. Either you get the question right or you get it wrong. But I want you to see that there are these prototypes that they have arranged for demonstration purposes. And the reason I want to show it to you is because I have recreated this and I've put this on my website, thecrowdtraining.com. And so in the free section, I will put this and you're welcome to play around with it. But it is a demonstration of the exact ones that you've seen there. But I want to point this out because the traditional 4 answer choice is pretty simple. Obviously, you pick one. But there's a new one that they are introducing called a hotspot. And the hotspot, what we call that in instructional design, is really anything that you want to interact with or touch on the screen. In this case, the example that they gave in the prototype is pretty basic. There's this graph, and you're going to have to really decipher what the graph means. And the question is asking, well, where is the increased? So the point then is not necessarily picking A, B, or C, which essentially you're doing here, but you are hotspotted, like you're pointing to it. So it's making it a little bit more graphical instead of just asking you, here's the question, give me the answer. But it is really giving you the same type of multiple choice question. There probably will be more type of hotspots because there's a lot you can do. I've used this in my other courses or content that I've developed where I say, hey, pick something from this picture that represents X or Y, and you got to point in the picture for it. But in this case, you would pick A, B, or C, and D, and then you would enter it and get your response. But the other one that you probably have seen quite a lot in my PM City stuff is this drag and drop, where you take something and you drag it over here, and I'm just going to randomly put things because I know I've already answered it wrong. But the point is that it's not just what is A to B, or A to A and B to B. It's like, all right, can you really explain in this case the processes in a process group? Now, if they're moving away from that, obviously this is not going to be a question you'll see, but it is something to work with. So I'll just go with this for now. Okay, and then the last one I want to show you. Oh, I'm making myself answer it. All right, let's see. And then no, that's not one. It's this one. And actually, there we go. All right, so there's the answer. I got it correct. I'll move on to the next one. This last one is where you can type in or you manipulate the data in some way. There's not a full story here, so I really just have to guess an answer. But the point is that you would type in numbers or information and then submit your answer. So it's a little bit not saying, okay, here are 4 answer choices, pick the right answer choice. It's actually entering the right answer choice, what does require you to think a little bit more. And so I think that's a great kind of question to really test a project manager. But I think these are a few that you need to be aware of. Beyond, of course, take your practice exams with the traditional style. There's also fill in the blank that they didn't put in the prototype, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If they give a blank, you enter the text into it. But otherwise, that's it. I hope that helps give you a little bit more preparation for your PMP exam here in 2021.